Part 113. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1121. Zhang Chen returned to his office from the design center. In addition to Meng Ping, Lu Ligan, and Xiao Fang, there was one more person in the office, Hagen. Although Hagen is the general manager of Zhang Chen's dynamic zone, he rarely comes to Zhang Chen's office. When Hagen came, he must have something to do with him. Zhang Chen asked, "Brother Hagen, what do you want from me?" Hagen said yes. Right now, there are many new brands below us, such as Puma, Yonex, and Converse. They have come to me several times, hoping that we can squeeze out a store for them. The original Nike and Adidas, they also complain that they currently have too many products and that as a flagship store, the space is too small. They hope to expand the store area to several hundred square meters. But my subordinates couldn't even get a single square meter, let alone hundreds of square meters, so they kept coming to me. What should we do? Zhang Chen said, we don't have that much space. There are still ways, Hagen said. Nowadays, young people in the city have many places to go. For example, Mr. Liu's Misi River has many people going there at night. Our rooftop garden, at night, except for those who come to play ball, there are actually not many people here anymore, and the few that do come don't do anything good. I wonder if we can tear down the rooftop garden and add another floor. How can that be done? Then there will be no place to play, Zhang Chen said. Of course the basketball courts, badminton halls and table tennis halls must be retained. This is also closely related to our market. What I mean is that the courts and gymnasiums in the back, including the company's premises, will not be moved. The 2/3 of the front areas will also be used. Just remove the entire rooftop garden, which can increase the business area by 8,000 square meters, Hagen said. That's okay, Lu Ligan said. Since this rooftop garden is already a decoration, it's better to demolish it. This way you can increase the rent by more than 10 million per year. Hagen's idea is right. Zhang Chen, you are engaged in business, not social welfare. Keep this part related to your market, and change the rest to markets, Meng Ping also said. Few people come to the rooftop garden now. Zhang Chen knows this. It is their basketball court. In recent years, with the number of basketball courts in various units and schools, as well as new buildings and communities, there are actually more and more basketball courts. The number of people coming here has begun to decrease. Zhang Chen also thought that Hagen's idea was good. He asked Lu Ligan, would it be difficult to add another floor to the roof of our building? Lu Ligan said, I'll call and ask Zhang Mushan. The dynamic zone that Zhang Chen and his team built back then was built by Zhang Mushan and his colleagues from the city's second construction. After Zhang Mushan retired from the city's second construction last year, he came to Lu Ligan's place. Now he is working under Lao Tan, replacing Lao Wan. It is their Hangzhou Splendid Land Building. Limited General Manager. Lu Ligan immediately dialed Zhang Mushan's phone and asked him if there would be any problem if Zhang Chen added an upstairs floor to the dynamic zone here. It's no problem to add 2 floors, Zhang Mushan said, because at that time, we considered the roof garden, so much soil and plants would be piled on the roof, which would be heavier than 1 floor, so from design to construction, 2 layers of the foundations and load-bearing beams of all markets on the 4th floor are built according to the 4-story standard. If there is no longer a rooftop garden on the roof, there is no problem in adding another floor. Okay, come up with a construction plan for adding another floor. I'll ask their general manager here to contact you with specific requirements, Lu Ligan said, and Zhang Mushan agreed. After putting down the phone, Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen said, you heard the call, no problem, let's do it. Zhang Chen said yes. He thought about it and said to Hagen, let's move the basketball court indoors this time so that everyone can come and play basketball even if it rains. Hagen said yes. Lu Ligan wrote Zhang Mushin's phone number to Hagen and told him that if you have any specific requirements, you can tell our Mr. Zhang. My idea is that you can actually start recruiting investment now, first recruiting investment and then construction. There are some places during the construction that can be carried out according to the needs of the merchants. Don't wait for the construction to be completed before destroying them. Hagen makes sense. Brother Hagen, I'd better design it so that the original atrium should be retained so that it can be breathable. Also, the public areas on the third floor should be designed with transparent roofs, so that the lighting will be better. Zhang Chen and Hagen said, by the way, find the original drawings of the dynamic zone, make an appointment with Zhang Mushin, and ask him to come over. The three of us will finalize this matter together. Before Hagen had time to speak, Lu Ligan looked at his watch and told them, I will ask him to come over now at what time to make an appointment. The matter will be finalized today. The earlier the renovation, the earlier the day's rent will be collected. It's tens of thousands, what can we use this money to eat that doesn't taste good? Hagen laughed and said okay, then I will go find the drawings. Lu Ligan immediately called Zhang Mushin and asked him to come over immediately. Zhang Chen also took out his sketchbook and started drawing. Meng Ping stood behind Zhang Chen and watched. He told Zhang Chen to leave some space in the parking lot in front and behind him. What? Zhang Chen asked. If it's a 3-story building, you should consider adding an escalator, Meng Ping said. Zhang Chen thinks it makes sense. Of course there is no need for escalators on the original 2 floors, but it would be very inconvenient if there were no escalators on the 3rd floor. Zhang Chen added 2 sets of escalators up and down at the front gate and the heaven in the middle. It's more troublesome when you get to the back, because the office area at the back is immovable and there's no way to install an escalator. If they want to install it, they will have to demolish the stairs going up and down the design center and the newly built row of houses. Even so, it is no different. It is equivalent to walking through the badminton hall and basketball hall, and walking a narrow road of more than 20 meters. Only through the passage can you get to the elevator entrance, which can easily cause blockage. But with a business area of 8,000 square meters, there are only 2 sets of elevators in the front and middle, which is too few. Meng Ping said that you can open a 2.5 meter wide passage against your wall on the 1st floor and install a set of escalators directly to the 3rd floor past the arena. Zhang Chen thought this was a good idea, but the problem was that if they wanted to open a passage, they would not open it on their property. Instead, they would have to borrow a piece of land in the yard of Lu Ligan's 2 office buildings next door. Pole, come here, Zhang Chen called. Lu Ligan came over. Zhang Chen pointed to the sketch and said to him, I'll lend you a piece of land here to add a passage and install an escalator. Lu Ligan said yes, just pretend, and the day I fall out with you, I can block your passage and suffocate you to death. Zhang Chen smiled and said, okay, come on. As he spoke, he added a passage there. At the end of the passage was a set of escalators going up and down. When Hagen came over with the drawings, Zhang Chen's sketch was basically completed. He then started to draw the formal renderings based on the original drawings. When Zhang Mushin arrived from Gongchen Bridge, Zhang Chen's renderings all painted. After Zhang Mushin understood Zhang Chen and the others' goals and requirements clearly, he took the renderings and original drawings drawn by Zhang Chen and went back to prepare the design drawings and construction drawings. Zhang Mushin shook the drawings in his hands and said to Zhang Chen and Hagen, in fact, it doesn't matter if I don't have this. This house is all in my mind. I was rushing to work every day at that time, which is very memorable. I can't forget it even if I want to. Zhang Mushin also helped them handle the construction application procedures. Lu Ligan told him, if something gets stuck, just tell me and I will make a call. Zhang Mushin said yes, but generally such a situation would not happen. This project would not involve any neighborhood disputes and would still require coordination. Our neighbors are us. I gave up my land to them, Lu Ligan said, it's either the provincial gymnasium or the provincial gymnasium. It can be done with just an ouch from the emperor. Besides, it didn't occupy any of their land. What opinions they will have, at most it will be that you will take up a little space from them when you set up the scaffolding. And the telecommunications building next door, Hagen said. Luligan said, it's okay, I'll say hello to their director. The expansion of the M-zone has been decided, and Hagen is eager to go down and greet the major sports brands to see what their needs are. Hagen and Zhang Mushin left, and He Hongmei walked in. Zhang Chen asked her if everything had been arranged. He Hongmei nodded and said that it has been distributed to every sample worker and will be modified tomorrow. Where are your clothes? Are you in a hurry? If you are in a hurry, they will be done here, Zhang Chen said. If you don't rush, I will send the fabrics away tomorrow. I have to walk for 3 days. When they arrive in Beijing, I will arrive too, He Hongmei said. This crew pays more attention to the costumes. When they are doing it, the director will come over to watch. It's not convenient to do it here. Zhang Chen said yes. Lu Ligan looked at the time and said to them, come on, Sichuan girl, you go call Xiao Zhao and we will have dinner together. Xiao Fang, come with us. Aren't you going to have dinner with Mr. Chiao? Zhang Chen asked curiously. Hey, everything that needs to be discussed has been discussed. In the evening, it will be purely about eating, purely about eating. Of course, the more people, the better, Lu Ligan said. Meng Ping remembered something and said, by the way, Zhang Chen, I think you can talk to Lao Chiao. I think your company can be listed in Singapore or Hong Kong. Why should I go public? Isn't going public just to make money? Zhang Chen said with a smile, I'm not short of money. Naive, who told you that going public is just to make money? Lu Ligan scolded. Then what else do you want? Zhang Chen asked. Lu Ligan was speechless for a moment. He really couldn't explain what else he could do with this listing besides making money. Lu Ligan shouted. Go and let old Joe tell you why. He is an expert. Thank you to readers 1297873838407110656, Dal Tin Soldier, and reading books every day for your rewards. Thank you Aiju and Lao Zi for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1122. They walked out of the office together. Lu Ligan looked at the small door, and his heart skipped a beat. He thought that after the garden on the roof was demolished, the railing where he often liked to go in the middle of the night would also be demolished. Unable to get up again in the middle of the night, he would be like a lonely soul with nowhere to go. However, think about the fact that the center of Hangzhou is growing day by day. Even if you don't go there, you can still see the center of Hangzhou by looking up from here. The time has come for Hangcheng Center to apply for a pre-sale license, but within their company, there is no conclusion yet on whether and when it will open. Tan Shahen believes that now is a good time to open, and it should be opened. Hangcheng Center, after the market opens, they can devote their energy and financial resources to the City in the Sky project. The returned funds can also be used to acquire more land. The price of land cannot be reduced. It is always better to buy early than to buy late. This is their consensus. But Lu Ligan always felt that for a project like Hangzhou Center, its opening should be at a point of special significance. But when the time is appropriate, Lu Ligan himself could not say. Clear. In the afternoon, he and Meng Ping sat in Zhang Chen's office and talked about this matter. Meng Ping stood on Tan Shahen's side, and he also agreed to open the market as soon as possible. He scolded Lu Ligan. He said, you are unwilling to open the market now. It may seem rational, but you are not rational at all. You are barbaric and domineering. Lu Ligan wondered, why am I so brutal and domineering? Meng Ping said, Your current attitude towards Hang Cheng Center is like an overbearing and barbaric father. Looking at his daughter, he always feels that his daughter is the most perfect in the world. This person who came to propose is not worthy of his daughter. That one is not worthy. If you act like this, you will eventually turn your own daughter into an old girl that no one wants. When Meng Ping said this, Xiao Fang on the other side of the conference table burst into laughter. Meng Ping laughed and said, "Xiao Fang, is it like this? When your sister brought your brother-in-law home, your brother-in-law didn't know anything at that time. No, if your parents had objected to your sister and your brother-in-law being together at that time, would they regret it now?" "No," Xiao Fang said, "the first time my brother-in-law came to our house, our whole family felt that my brother-in-law was very good and no one objected." Meng Ping laughed and said, "Okay, Pol, you are in the center of Hangzhou, now Zhang Chen, you need to get rid of it immediately when everyone is optimistic about it. For us, a project is new from the day it starts. The starting point, not our end point, is where we want to focus on the next project. Like me, when I was building my building, I was as excited as you. The tallest building in Nanjing was so awesome. But if I kept holding on to this awesomeness, I would be eliminated. So now, building 60, the 6-story building is not me, but someone else. With the new project of 66 floors, after the halo of the original building, the tallest building in Nanjing, recedes, what will be left? There is nothing, Pol. You just have to take advantage of the fact that the center of Hangzhou still has its aura and it is the most valuable time to sell it. After selling it, if you feel that it is not satisfying, you can build the Hangzhou throne, or the Lord of Hangzhou also comes to the 66th floor, and the new awesomeness is still yours." Meng Ping's words moved Lu Ligan, and Lu Ligan also felt that it was time to let the glory of Hang Cheng Center become history. He made up his mind that Hang Cheng Center should be opened for business. Several people went downstairs, and Lu Ligan drove away. He wanted to pick up Tan Shahan from the company first, and then pick up Lao Jiao from the hotel. Zhang Chen, Meng Ping, He Hongmei, and Xiao Fang were all in Xiao Zhao's car. Zhang Chen was not in a hurry to get on the car, but walked to the edge of the parking lot with Meng Ping, and took a look at him, preparing to open a passage to get in. "The place?" Meng Ping said. "Yes, that's it, just make a more eye-catching front door." Zhang Chen even thought that although this passage was a bit long, it could be made into a 2.5-meter wide time tunnel. Then maybe many people would choose to walk through this passage. Zhang Chen told Meng Ping his thoughts, and Meng Ping said yes, so that he wouldn't get bored. Although they stayed in the parking lot for a while, Zhang Chen and the others arrived at Zangshenji before Lu Ligan and the others. Lao Jiao liked the old duck stew with dried bamboo shoots here, so they ordered it first, and ordered 2 portions, because He Hongmei and Xiao Fang also likes to eat. He Hongmei said that this dish is not as delicious as the old duck with dried bamboo shoots. Lu Ligan, Tan Shahan, and Lao Jiao arrived. Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao, and Lao Jiao all knew each other. No introduction was needed, and Xiao Fang did not need to be introduced. As soon as Lao Jiao saw her, he asked Xiao Zhao, "Is your sister?" Xiao Zhao nodded with a smile and said yes. Tan Shahan introduced He Hongmei to Lao Jiao. Lao Jiao quickly said that for them, they had known each other for a long time. Although they had never met, their names were heard from other people. Heard that? After sitting down, Lu Ligan asked Zhang Chen's question to Lao Jiao and asked him to tell him what the company's listing would do besides making money. Lao Jiao smiled, thought for a while, and said to Zhang Chen, "Mr. Zhang, we are all our own people. I won't tell you those vain things. What can improve the company's financial discipline and governance structure? There are many listed companies with a mess of financial discipline and governance structure. And I won't tell you anything that can improve the company's visibility. Of course, it can indeed be improved. But the popularity of a company is actually a double-edged sword. When you are good, you are a listed company and can spread your reputation thousands of miles. But when you are not good, this listed company is a burden to you. Because it will also make your reputation spread thousands of miles. At that time, you might as well be an unknown company in the corner. As for other things, it can attract talents, motivate employees, and attract the attention of local governments. All of these, I can use 10 or 20 reasons to deceive other companies to go public, but here, there is no need to mention them. For a company like Mr. Zhang, let me tell you the truth. If it goes public, there are several reasons. The first one is yes, of course it is to make money. The purpose of our business should not be so lofty. In fact, it is just to make money, with different methods. Useful products, like Mr. Zhang and you, can make money from the market and consumers. Instead of making a product, he treats the company directly as a product. When it goes on the market, it is equivalent to getting rid of the product. He takes the money to make a second product, which is a second company. There are more and more people like this now, and there will be more in the future. Don't listen to what they say. We set up a company just to make money. The starting point is money, and the purpose is money. If it is not for money, we don't have to spend so much energy and rack our brains. Mr. Zhang, am I right to say this? Zhang Chen nodded. He was right. Mr. Chiao, you are right, that's what it is. What I hate most are those who run businesses. They talk about social responsibility every day. It's so hypocritical. You have to talk about social responsibility like that. Your business simply won't be able to operate. For those who run businesses, I think you should not overestimate yourself. In fact, if you can do your part well, that is to fulfill your social responsibility. Oh, how do you say this? Mr. Chiao became interested. Zhang Chen said, the simplest thing is to be nice to your employees and don't delay their wages, let alone withhold wages. Behind every employee is a family. If you treat them well, you are fulfilling your social responsibility. Be nice to your suppliers and don't default on their payments. The entire society is made up of many small groups. If you treat each of them nice, you are contributing to social stability. What I hate the most is the kind of entrepreneur who is very mean to employees and suppliers, but talks about social responsibility all day long. I feel like you haven't even done your part. What qualifications do you have to talk about social responsibility? Everything you say is false and you are whitewashing yourself. Mr. Chiao nodded and said, that's right. Generally, if I meet such an entrepreneur, I will be more careful. If you treat me too high, I'm sorry. I will also be vain to you. Otherwise, I will be ignorant. I'm sorry, Mr. Zhang, you are very honest. Mr. Chiao said, and everyone laughed. Mr. Chiao continued, it is not shameful for companies to make money. As long as it is done in a proper way, there is no shame in going public just to make money. This is also the fundamental reason and motivation for companies to go public. No company is short of money. He said he has no shortage. Lu Lepole pointed at Zhang Chen and said. Mr. Chiao smiled and said, Mr. Zhang, let me be honest. If you say you are not short of money, it is not really that you are not short of money, but that your company is not big enough. You just don't have the money at this stage. Taking clothing production as an example, is your scale now as big as that of Shanshan and Young-er? Zhang Chen shook his head. Then why do they still want to go public? Mr. Chiao said, business people always hope that their companies will develop year by year and become bigger and bigger. When you reach a certain level, such as Mr. Zhang, now when you want to become the largest women's clothing company in the country, can you still say that you are not short of money? Money is never enough for a company. How much capital can you do? For example, I know Mr. Zhang that your products are also sold in Shanghai 100. You need to have connections to get in, you still need to maintain a good relationship with their clothing department manager, right? But don't forget, Shanghai 100 is also the Zongbei store listed on the Shanghai Stock Exchange. If Mr. Zhang has enough money, you can also acquire it and become its boss. You said so, isn't that a great thing? If you have this ability, you can buy Hangcheng Tower in Hangzhou, go to Shanghai to buy Zongbei store, and go to Beijing to buy Wangfujing department store or Lufthansa. Is your company bigger than you are now? But I think you wouldn't even think about it now. It's not that you don't want to, and it's not that you don't lack money. It's just that you lack too much money. Your money is 1,000 miles away from acquiring them. You don't even dare to think about it, and even thinking about it is just a fantasy. But have you ever thought that even Walmart, which is only a few decades old, has the ability to do this? Its asset scale is hundreds of times larger than all these companies. Acquiring them is a big deal for it, is a piece of cake. How can Walmart be so big? It is not built just by selling clothes one by one and flush toilets one by one. What helps it is the capital market. Walmart stock has been in New York since 1972. After it went public, by the end of 1999, in 25 years, do you know how many times its stock has doubled? Zhang Chen shook his head, and Lao Jiao asked Lu Ligan and Meng Ping, guess how much? Two people, one said 100 times, and the other said 200 times. Lao Jiao kept shaking his head. Tan Shahen asked, 300 times. 4,900 times, old Jiao said. Everyone exclaimed ah, and Lao Jiao said that in other words, its company value has increased 4,900 times in 25 years. If it does not rely on the capital market and sells its products on its own, it will be selling drugs. You can't make so much, right? Think about Mr. Zhang's company. It's definitely no problem to have a net worth of 300 million now, Lao Jiao said. If in 25 years, you can increase it 4,900 times, then it will be a family of 15,000 a billion-sized giant company. By then, will what you want to do still be the same as it is now? Thank you for the tip from the third one from top to bottom, 131 on the shore. Thank you Elber King, Zipanjiang 1, and Huaxin Yongshao for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1123. Lao Jiao felt that he was going too far, so he brought the topic back. He said to Zhang Chen, I said before that companies all have to make money, but the ways and means of making money are different. I also said that if a company is not short of money now, it does not mean that it will not be short of money in the future. As long as the company's ambition is big enough and the pace of development can any faster, and he'll be short of money in no time. What should companies do if they are short of money? That is to say, they need to raise money. If a company wants to raise money, there are several ways. One is to borrow money from banks, the other is to borrow money from relatives and friends, and the other is to go public. This comes back to the purpose of listing. It can be said that raising money through listing is the lowest cost and most cost-effective. Whether you get a bank loan or borrow money from relatives and friends, you have to pay interest. Even if you don't pay interest, at least the money has to be repaid, right? But the money from the listing circle, the money given to you by investors, there is no need to pay it back. Not only does it not need to be paid back, but if your business is run well, you can also continue to raise more money from the market through continuous additional issuances. This is the first and most primitive impulse for companies to go public. How cool is it to take other people's money and build your own company? This can be said to be one of the reasons why companies want to go public, right? Lao Jiao asked. Zhang Chen nodded. He felt that if there is such a good thing, it is certainly worth doing. Second, I usually don't tell others about this. Lao Chiao looked at Zhang Chen and said with a hint of confidence, Mr. Zhang, including Mr. Lu and Mr. Meng, as your company grows bigger and bigger, it will definitely cause trouble. Some people are jealous and want to put their hands in. They don't have it now, but there will definitely come a day. They will use any means to turn yours into theirs and tear it apart. You have money and he has power. He has bad intentions and wants to turn power into money. How to change it? It will be done on your head. If you don't go to them, they will come to you. At that day, you want to hide? Can't hide either. At this time, you will feel the benefits of this listed company, because this listed company is a public company, and its operations must be supervised by the public, that is, shareholders, and all information is open and transparent. That at that time, it would be easy for them to put their hands into your current company, Mr. Zhang. If you refuse, it will make you miserable. But if he wants to reach out to a listed company, he has to weigh it carefully. If he does not have enough energy, he can easily shoot himself in the foot. At this time, the listed company is your talisman. This reason is not realistic. Reality. Old Chiao, you are so right, it is really possible, Meng Ping said. It's not possible, it's very realistic. I've seen too many bastards who rob and plunder, and companies and entrepreneurs who are forced into desperation. As long as you don't have enough armor to protect yourself as a company, these bastards will take advantage of the situation. Look, behind every corrupt official who falls, there will be a string of unlucky companies. Do you think those companies are so stupid that they are willing to give up their money? Many times, they have no choice but to live under the roof of others and have to bow their heads. They are the prostitutes who are forced into prostitution. So if you are an enterprise, when the enterprise is small, the focus is on the development of the enterprise. But when the enterprise reaches a certain scale, what you pay more attention to is the safety of the enterprise. The factors that cause insecurity include objective and man-made factors. We have to find ways to eliminate them one by one. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan both nodded, feeling that what Lao Chiao said made sense. Old Chiao, you have already mentioned 2 points, are there any more? Lu Ligan asked. Yes, and another point is that you must consider the safety of the company, but you must also consider your own personal financial security. Another advantage of going public is that it allows you founders to achieve financial security and be safe. As Old Chiao spoke, he glanced at them, but everyone present was confused by his words and had no idea what he was talking about. This, Lao Chiao, please explain clearly, how can we achieve our personal financial security? Meng Ping asked. Old Chiao laughed and said, this is very realistic and a bit evil. I wouldn't tell ordinary people. Okay, we are not ordinary people, please tell us quickly, Lu Ligan urged. Lao Chiao said, this involves the price-earnings ratio of listed companies. Many bullshit economists make the price-earnings ratio very complicated. In fact, the price-earnings ratio can be explained clearly in one sentence. It is the expectation for your company. That is, the degree of optimism, expectations, and optimism, in listed companies, can be quantified and turned into real money. This is the price-earnings ratio. Seeing that they still seem to understand, Lao Chiao further explained. When a stock is issued, it is priced according to the net worth of the enterprise. This is the original stock. What you, the shareholders, hold in your hands are the original shares. Some people can also obtain the original shares through some means. Why are the original shares a stock is so valuable that it is like a piece of dough as thick as a chopstick? As long as it is put into the oil pan called the stock market, it can quickly expand into a fried dough stick. When Lao Chiao said this, everyone laughed and felt that his statement was very vivid and everyone understood it as soon as they heard it. Lao Chiao continued, many stocks were issued at a premium of several times on the first day of issuance. In the open market, you can't buy the original shares. What you buy are fried dough sticks. Therefore, for many stocks, the issue price it's one piece, but what you can buy is tens, dozens, or even hundreds of pieces. These tens, dozens, and hundreds are the price-earnings ratios of more than 10, dozens, or hundreds of times. The better, the more promising the company that everyone thinks, the higher its price-to-earnings ratio. This is what I mean by the price-to-earnings ratio, which is expectations and optimism, because everyone thinks it is worth the money and you won't lose money if you buy it. It's the kind of broken stock. A stock, that is, a stock whose market price falls below the issue price, must be a bad company. It goes without saying that everyone is not optimistic about it and feels that it should die long ago. So you should have seen on TV that when people are trying to rectify a company, why do they go to the stock market to rectify it? Buying high and selling low in large quantities is to destroy everyone's optimism about you and make your stocks worthless. After understanding what the price-earnings ratio is, it will be very simple to tell you how to achieve your personal financial security and be safe. Our current domestic stock market and general companies have a price-to-earnings ratio of more than 10 or 20 times. Your fried dough stick has expanded more than 10 or 20 times more than dough. Let's take Mr. Zhang as an example. Your original net profit ratio is more than 10 or 20 times. The assets are 300 million. If you multiply it by more than 10 times, it will be 300 to 400 million. In this listed company, your family holds 100% of the shares. Even if it is not 100%, in order to go public, you sold 20% of the shares, and your family still has 80%. After the listing, the market value of your company will be worth 4 billion. At this time, it will soon simple, as long as you sell 20% of the stocks during the lifting period, will you receive 800 million in cash. In this way, not only will all your assets be converted into cash and returned to your pocket, you will also make hundreds of millions. The most important thing is, please note that even if your family sells 2% 10 shares, you still hold 60%, you are still the major shareholder, this company is still yours. You take that 800 million, or deposit it in the bank, invest in a second company, and do what you did before, which is commonly known as money making money. Will your assets and business scale expand rapidly? Okay, is this faster than developing franchise stores one by one? Just by turning the sesame biscuits this way, you will eventually find out why you have a table full of sesame biscuits without even realizing it. After Lao Chiao finished speaking, everyone fell silent. They felt that the scene Lao Chiao described was beyond their imagination. It was amazing. It turns out that you can still do this in business and make money in this way. Don't think it's incredible, Lao Chiao said. Look at Li Ka-shing, Robert Kuok, these big bosses. While they are doing great business, none of them are masters of capital operations. If he only focuses on his own business and does not understand capital operations, then, to put it bluntly, his pants have not been lowered yet. What do you mean, Lao Chiao? Lu Ligan asked. It means that he is still a farmer, and he only knows how to work when the sun rises and earn a living when the sun comes in. He only knows how to rely on the sky for food. He is not a good entrepreneur yet. The word entrepreneur is a bad word. It is similar to a blacksmith and a carpenter. For enterprises, the best word is capitalist. Only those who understand capital operations can be called capitalists, not just those who can run enterprises. Zhang Chen smiled sheepishly, we haven't lowered our pants yet. Lao Chiao also laughed and said, if you do this kind of thing once, you will understand the tricks and secrets, and you will taste the sweetness. I guarantee you will be addicted immediately. Li Ka-shing is selling plastic flowers when he was in business, he didn't even lower his pants, and he didn't know anything about capital operations. Once he understood it and realized it, it would be amazing. Oh, old Chiao, listening to you is really better than studying for 10 years, Meng Ping said with emotion. Seeing that Xiaofang had been listening attentively, he asked, Xiaofang, you from Zhejiang University, listen, isn't it more enjoyable for Uncle Chiao to talk than to listen to your professor's lecture? Xiaofang nodded, and everyone laughed. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said seriously to Lao Chiao, Mr. Chiao, I really listened to what you said. Just like what Lao Meng said, I also felt suddenly cheerful. In this way, Mr. Chiao, if you have time, when he was there, he also came to our company to give us advice and help us see what we should do. Lao Chiao said, yes, I will bring a team here next time to get a feel for your company, and then see which piece we can put into operation. Zhang Chen quickly said, yes, thank you, thank you. Thank you Lao Chentang, Mesa 3510, and 1390-628-1900 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1124. The renovation of the third floor of the dynamic zone had not yet begun, but Hagen came to tell Zhang Chen that all the space on the third floor had been rented out. Zhang Chen was startled and said, I didn't even see you start recruiting investment. Hagen told him that there was no need to attract investment. There were a lot of people asking for stalls there, and those small merchants couldn't even get them. The newly expanded 8,000 square meters on the third floor has been taken over by more than 30 brands and turned into their flagship stores. The smallest one also asked for 220 square meters. Between brands, in a market, everyone is different from each other. If you have a store covering hundreds of square meters, if I don't, my brand will be bullied invisibly. Of course it won't work. So as soon as they heard that the third floor was going to be expanded, these brands immediately came to Hagen and asked for space on the third floor. In the same market, location is very important. Every brand wants a location at the top of the stairs or facing the escalator. This has a good publicity effect on the brand's image and subconsciously attracts people up and down. When you are at the bottom, you feel like you are sitting on top of the stairs. When you are at the top of the stairs, people think you are taking the first place. But with such a location and a market, there are only a few in total. Everyone is their own merchant, and Hagen cannot favor one over the other. In the end, they can only let them draw lots, so that no one has any objections. Even if you are a big-name world-famous brand, at this time, you can only follow the oldest game in China. Determining your own life and death, if your position is not good, you can only blame your own luck. Zhang Chen looked at the list of these brands. They were all big international brands. There were only 4 domestic brands, Double Happiness, Li-Ning, Peak and Qingdao Double Star. Even the Shanghai JLI brand, which they were very cool when they were young, was not on the list. Some of these brands originally had their stalls on the first and second floors, but they didn't mind spending the extra money. Some of them transferred them themselves and earned a transfer fee. A week later, Zhang Mushan came over and told Zhang Chen that all the procedures had been completed and he could enter the venue. Zhang Chen said, thank you, I have to thank you again. Zhang Mushan smiled and said, why bother? It's just something incidental. For Zhang Mushan, the construction here was indeed a matter of course. People came here from the center of Hangzhou. The formwork and scaffolding were piled on the construction site in the center of Hangzhou. All the sand, gravel, cement, and steel bars were also made from Hangzhou. On the construction site in the center of the city, there is no need to build additional warehouses and storage yards here. You don't even need to move the mixer. You can just pull the truckloads of concrete from there and use it next door. The expansion at the top cannot affect the continued business at the bottom. Zhang Chen also has experience in this. He did the same thing when he was building Wanghai Mall in Haikan. But the third floor was a construction site after all. Zhang Chen was worried that there would be accidents if too many people came and went. He asked Hagen to temporarily close the basketball court and table tennis hall on the roof. The badminton club personnel were unified from the company. Go up and down the stairs on the side and pass through the small door, which is completely separated from the construction site next door. This year's Spring Festival falls on February 5. Zhang Mushan and Zhang Chen said that before the Spring Festival, all the civil construction parts will be completed. After the Spring Festival, their brands can start to decorate the internal stores themselves. Zhang Chen said yes. Before the Spring Festival, Zhang Chen and the others still have one important thing to do, which is to send out all the sample clothes provided to Target. Although according to Jessica and the others, they only need to provide them in February. However, after the Spring Festival on February 5, workers will not arrive one after another until around the 20th, as will the pattern makers and sample workers in the design center. Their company will not be normal throughout February, and they must finish this matter early. After the sample workers modified all the sample clothes, they packed a total of 8 large boxes and sent them to the United States via UPS. Then they waited for Jessica's feedback. After finishing these 2 things, Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief, feeling that he could finally relax a little. Next, he had to deal with the headache, the Spring Festival sales season. The Spring Festival every year is the peak sales season for many industries, but for the clothing industry, it is the most troublesome and distressing day of the year. At this time, normal sales of every brand basically stop, and everyone faces the first thing that matters is how to sell as much inventory as possible before the Spring Festival. The Spring Festival is the most definite node. After the Spring Festival, even if the weather continues to be low and spring seems far away, all winter clothes will not be moved, and they cannot even be sold at discounts. Therefore, for every clothing brand, the Spring Festival is not their prime time, but the season of tearful sales. If you can sell one more item before the Spring Festival, forget about profits. Xiao Zhao suggested that we go a little earlier this year and start discounting from the 10th. Zhang Chen said yes. Zhang Chen said yes, the distribution center and the financial center will be very busy. They have to recalculate all the inventory items and discounts in each store based on each store's report, and pay back every day. You should keep a close eye on it, and if you find that a certain style of clothing sells particularly well in a certain place, you should transfer it from other places. They also need to count up all the inventory of each style across the country and conduct an internal auction. That is, if there is a general agent or dealer of a certain style who is ready to buy out all of them, they will sell it at a price of 1.5% off, all were sold to him. After this style was bought out, other stores must send the goods within 3 days. Alternatively, you can also buy out the inventory in your own store at a 20% discount. Otherwise, returns and exchanges will not be allowed for this style. At this time, the distribution center and the financial center are like fighting every day. Fortunately, now with the internet and MSN, all their work can be completed online instantly, which is much more convenient, instead of having to rely on telephone to do so. Phone calls and faxes were sent back and forth, and the number of people was overwhelming. Zhang Chen and his 3 stores in Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Beijing also started selling all clothing at 50% off from January 10, in order to get ahead of the crazy discounts in big shopping malls. In recent years, department stores have opened more and more, and business has become more and more difficult. The more difficult it is, the crazier it is, and the squeeze on manufacturers is even harder. When holidays come, they also start to buy 200 and get 100 free, and buy 3 the 180 for -100 campaign puts a lot of pressure on a specialty store like Zhang Chen and others, which is why Xiao Zhao asked for a discount in advance. For a company, if you haven't made any money by the end of the year, then a small loss is a profit. But for a company that has made money, it's time for you to give back some of your profits. Lu Ligan's Hangcheng Center decided to open for sale, and Tan Shehen called Ying Ying back from Suzhou to listen to her opinions and suggestions. In terms of sales, Ying Ying still had a lot of ideas. Contrary to Zhang Chen and others, the annual Spring Festival is the day when Lu Ligan and others laugh. This is the peak period of their sales. When the family is reunited, it is natural to discuss the most important decisions of the whole family. Many families make decisions during the Spring Festival. Make the decision to buy a house. The sales department of each of Lu Ligan's projects is open even on New Year's Day and has people on duty. Lu Ligan suggested that they set their opening day on February 7th, which is the third day of the Lunar New Year. According to their past experience, starting from the third day of the Lunar New Year is when a large number of people buying houses appear, and it is also the Spring Festival, the beginning of the sales season. Ying Ying disagreed with this suggestion. She said that if Hangcheng Center is to open, we must rush it before the Spring Festival. Before the Spring Festival, when everyone is preparing for the new year, who will buy a house? Lu Ligan asked. What you are talking about is a residence. Our center in Hangzhou is an office building. Which company will come to buy an office building before the 10th day of the Lunar New Year? That boss has a fever? He has no home to go back to during the Spring Festival. Does the company really make him his home? Ying Ying asked. Lu Ligan was stunned for a moment, and Ying Ying continued. Before the Spring Festival, it is precisely the time when they have the greatest desire to buy new office buildings. They have been doing it this year and have achieved good results. They feel that the company will reach a higher level next year. At this time, our Hangzhou center just opened, and they came. At the same time, the company's purchase of the office building in Hangcheng Center at this time is also an incentive for the employees below. We will all move to Hangcheng Center next year. Will this give employees more confidence in their company? Yes. During the Spring Festival, is it a source of conversation with relatives and friends, or a source of bragging rights with classmates and friends? Tan Shehen and Lao Tan both agreed with Ying Ying's statement. Lao Tan said that in the first month of the year, there are many people buying houses, but office buildings will definitely not be bought. If they open at that time, they will be smashed. Isn't it too nervous to set this time before the Spring Festival? Lu Ligan asked. Don't be nervous, Tan Shehen said. Aren't you full of energy today on the 6th? Let the Qianzhong Evening News and Hangcheng Daily rush to publish full pages for a week from the 8th to the 14th. Advertisement, the market will open on January 15th, 115. If you want me, what a great day it is. I can build a sales office in 1 week and recruit capable sales staff from each project department. It's not too late. The sales department has no problem, Lao Tan said. There is nothing major happening in Suzhou before the Spring Festival. I will be responsible for setting up the sales department. Before the Spring Festival, I can focus my work mainly here, Ying Ying said. So selfless, Lu Ligan smiled. When Hangcheng Center is up, our entire company is up, and it will be good for each of our branches. Ying Ying looked at Lu Ligan and asked, isn't it? Tan Shehen nodded and said, yes, Ying Ying, you have an overall view. Lu Ligan stood up and walked outside. He told Tan Shehen Ying Ying to think quickly about what to write in the advertisement. Where are you going? Tan Shehen asked. A full page for a week. I don't want to go to Zhangchen. Help me think about it. How should I do this advertisement? Lu Ligan said. Tan Shehen also stood up. She called to Ying Ying and Lao Tan and said, let's go too and let's discuss it together. Thank you for the reward from reading books and doll tin soldiers every day. Thank you WXD121, Kong Buffy, Tianying 1978, Zizhe for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1125. Lu Ligan and the others arrived at Zhang Chen's office and told him about the advertisement. Zhang Chen first raised a question. He said that when a new thing appears, the shelf life will soon pass, especially for advertisements. Don't you think that after seeing the whole page for a week, people who read the advertisement will be bored after seeing it? When Zhang Chen said this, Tan Shahen and the others also felt that this was true. After seeing it, people might glance at it and turn over the page with the advertisement. What should we do? Shorten the time and only visit for 3 days, Tan Shahen asked. Lu Ligan and Ying Ying immediately objected. Ying Ying said, for such a large project, a 3-day warm-up period may not be enough. Lu Ligan also agreed with Ying Ying's statement. Zhang Chen thought for a while, and then he told Ying Ying, go to the financial center next door and bring me a copy of Jianzhong Evening News and a copy of Hangcheng Daily. Ying Ying hurriedly walked out, and after a while, she came back with 2 newspapers. The formats of the 2 newspapers were different. Jianzhong Evening News had 4 pages with 16 pages, and Hangcheng Daily had 2 pages. Opening the 8th page, Zhang Chen cut out several pieces of white paper of the same size based on the layouts of the 2 newspapers. The 4 people looked at him. Lao Tan and Ying Ying didn't know what he was going to do, but Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen laughed. They didn't speak, but they knew in their hearts that Zhang Chen had something in mind. Sure enough, after the paper was cut, Zhang Chen went to the cabinet next to him and found a set of pens and a plate. He took out a bottle of carbon ink and poured the ink into the plate. Zhang Chen held the pen and thought for a while, then raised his head, looked at them and asked, how about we do a series and stage a suspense drama? Lu Ligan said yes, how to act? Zhang Chen picked up the pen and wrote 3 bold words wait for me in the middle of the white paper. He looked at it for himself and added an ellipsis after the 3 words, turning it into wait for me. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said that this is the advertisement. The 3 full pages in the first 3 days are just this. There is no need to write anything else. Lu Ligan, Tan Shahen, and Ying Ying looked at each other, and they all became a little excited. Waiting for me for 3 days, this is indeed suspenseful enough. Isn't it a pity to spend so much money and only publish these 3 words? Lao Tan asked. Lu Ligan and the others all laughed, and Zhang Chen said, brother, the purpose of this advertisement is to attract people's attention. As long as it can attract people's attention, the 3 words in these 3 days are to attract people's attention. The force is attracted to me. Just think about it, brother, when you get the newspaper and see this, will you be surprised? What is going on? Will you want to find out? Okay, it's kind of cool, Lu Ligan said. But even though everyone is paying attention, they don't know it's us. Do you want to write down your phone number here? Lao Tan asked. That way it won't be suspenseful, Tan Shahen said with a smile. It's suspenseful if everyone doesn't know what's going on. Since it's a TV series, if you want to know, just listen to the breakdown next time, Ying Ying said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, okay, the decomposition is here. The first 3 days are the one waiting for me, and the 4th day is this. Zhang Chen said, and still wrote a row of thick bold characters on another piece of paper, take me to the center of Hangzhou to see the West Lake. Well, okay, the protagonist has appeared. At this time, everyone knows that the protagonist is Hangcheng Center, but they don't know what happened to Hangcheng Center. Ying Ying said, this is okay. Yes, Zhang Chen smiled, the next 3 days will be the opening of Hangcheng Center. Awesome, Lu Ligan shouted, on this plan, Lao Tan, what do you think? At this time, Lao Tan also understood. He said okay, be creative, and that was it. Tan Shahen and Ying Ying also think this plan is good. After the overall plan is decided, the next step is to design a decent advertisement for the 3 days. This is relatively simple, as long as the layout of the picture are beautiful. This is Zhang Chen's specialty, and it can be seen immediately. Zhang Chen will draw it quickly. Out. Lu Ligan took the manuscript and couldn't wait for the ink on it to dry, so he left in a hurry. 7 full pages, How many advertisements had to be squeezed out? He had to go to the public relations in person. On the day the advertisement came out, Lou Ligon got up early and went to a newsstand to watch everyone's reaction. Sure enough, both newspaper buyers and newspaper sellers were attracted by their advertisement. When those who bought a newspaper saw this advertisement, they first put the newspaper in front of their eyes and looked at it to see if there was any secret in these 3 words. After confirming whether there was any secret, they then lifted the newspaper up to the sun and saw that there was no secret. "What?" the newspaper buyer muttered, "Wait for me, wait for you, Saxy." He walked away with doubts in his eyes. Lou Ligon looked on from the side and almost laughed out loud. A familiar person came to buy a newspaper. The owner of the newsstand shouted before he could get close to him, "Bake it up, burn it up, pay for it earlier, I don't know what the fuss is about." Then he opened the page of the advertisement to show it to the newspaper buyer. The newspaper buyer also said picked it up and looked at it. There was nothing. He said doubtfully, "Was it printed wrong?" "No, no," the newspaper seller quickly said, "the same is true for Hangzhou newspapers." The owner of the newsstand then took out the Hangcheng Daily and showed it to the newspaper buyers. When the newspaper buyers saw it, they felt even more strange. He quickly bought both newspapers to show off to others. People watch. Lou Ligon smiled, quickly bought 5 newspapers each, and left the newsstand. It seemed that the suspense effect was achieved. Will it drive people crazy if he posts like this for 3 days in a row? Lou Ligon arrived at Zhang Chen's office and found that Tan Shuhen and Xiao Zhao were both here, holding today's Hangcheng Daily and Qianzhong Evening News in their hands. The same was on Zhang Chen's desk. Lou Ligon asked, "What are you doing, been to the newsstand?" Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Why, only you can go." He saw a stack of newspapers in Lou Ligon's hand and knew that he had just returned from the newsstand. The scene he saw at the newsstand should be similar to his. Tan Shuhen's cell phone rang, and Ying Ying called on the phone, "Mr. Tan, look, our ads have been posted on the Tianya forum, and everyone is discussing this matter." So fast, Tan Shuhen was surprised. Zhang Chen immediately turned on his computer and opened the Tianya forum. Sure enough, he saw that someone had posted a photo of the Qianzhong Evening News with this advertisement on it. Everyone guessed that it was an advertisement for the message below, but the details were there are different opinions on what kind of advertisement it is. Have you ever said hello to Qianbao and Hangbao? The following content cannot be disclosed in advance. Many people will definitely ask. If it is revealed, it will not be fun, Zhang Chen and Lou Ligon said. Lou Ligon looked at him, "You don't have to worry about me. Do you think I'm a retarded person who doesn't even know what suspense is?" Zhang Chen laughed and said, "Okay, but there is still a mystery. Please answer it." "What?" Lou Ligon asked. "When can construction start next door?" Zhang Chen asked. "Didn't Zhang Mushin tell you?" Lou Ligon asked, "Then he will call you later. The procedures are complete and he will arrange to enter the venue tomorrow." Just as he was talking, Zhang Chen's cell phone rang. It was Zhang Mushin. 2 newspapers and 7 days of advertisements have whetted the appetite of Hangzhou citizens. Everyone is talking about Hangzhou Center. Everyone knows that Hangzhou Center, the tallest building in Hangzhou, will open for sale on January 15th. What to do? Go and play. Where are you going to play? Go to the center of Hangzhou to see the West Lake. The above conversation has become a classic conversation that people in Hangzhou often hear in the past 2 days. If a man and a woman talk about it, it will be a bit of a joke or even ambiguous. Anyway, the center of Hangzhou has been stealing the show these days. Even Lu Changcheng called and asked Lou Ligon about the opening of Hangcheng Center. Only then did Lou Ligon realize that he had overlooked one thing. There should be a ceremony for the opening of his Hangcheng Center. When the foundation stone of Hangcheng Center was laid, Lu Changcheng came to cut the ribbon. He wanted to open the market, but he even forgot to say hello to him first. Lu Ligan hurriedly told Lu Changcheng, "Boss, I was just about to call you to tell you about this." I didn't expect the boss to be so concerned. He called first to ask. "We are considering how to hold an opening ceremony. Can we ask the boss to ask, are you busy and want to come to the site for guidance?" Lu Changcheng laughed loudly and said without thinking, "I will not attend this kind of business event. I just know that your project is progressing smoothly. Congratulations, Mr. Lu." Lu Ligan quickly said thank you for your leadership's concern. After hanging up the phone, Lu Ligan thought to himself, Lu Changcheng refused to attend the event at the first glance. Did he mean to blame himself for not saying hello in advance? Lu Ligan told Zhang Chen his idea, and Zhang Chen said no. Lu Changcheng was right. The opening of Hangzhou Center is indeed a commercial activity. As an executive deputy mayor, he must. It's not convenient to attend. If he comes, it will be like endorsing you. If there is any conflict between you and the client, what will he do? But when I laid the foundation stone, he came. Lu Ligan said that after he finished speaking, he immediately understood that there was a big difference between the two. The reason why the project was laid was because Hangzhou Center is a key project in Hangzhou. Lu Changcheng, as the executive deputy mayor, of course he needs to be present. Just like when his Hangcheng Center was suspended, Lu Changcheng would call him. He emphasized that this was a key project and reminded himself to pay attention to social perceptions. He said that what he cared about was always the progress of the project itself. But now, the opening of your property is your company's business behavior. Whether it sells well or not is your company's business and has nothing to do with the project itself. For Lu Changcheng, as long as you can ensure the completion of Hangcheng Center, just don't turn it into an unfinished building. It seems that Lu Changcheng has drawn this line very clearly. Then do we need to hold a ceremony? Lu Ligan asked Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen said no, just make the scene more festive. Yang Yang and the others have already gone to do it. The opening of the Hangzhou Center is now a household name. It doesn't matter whether there is a ceremony or not. Thank you for the tip from the third one from top to bottom, 131 on the shore. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1126. Still, for safety reasons, Lu Ligan and his colleagues did not build the sales office in the Hangcheng Center construction site. Instead, they built it on Stadium Road, close to the wall of the Hangcheng Center construction site. Zhang Chen and his colleagues in the dynamic zone in the parking lot. On January 15, the parking lot in front of the M-Zone gate was full of people. The merchants who came to work in the morning were startled, thinking that something had happened to the M-Zone. When they took a closer look, they realized that these people were all coming to the sales office in the center of Hangzhou. The two-story sales office has long been crowded with people, and people have come outside. The flow of people here is divided into three groups. One group is for people who come to take a look at the property and are also planning to buy a house, and the other group is the media. Reporters, there has been no news about Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen for a long time. How could they not come if they get this opportunity? The last group were people who were purely attracted by the advertisements in the past few days and rushed over to watch the excitement. Many of these people were local real estate developers in Hangzhou. They came to see if Lu Ligan and his Zhejiang Jingxiu had anything. Big move. After a round of hustle and bustle, the real estate market in Hangzhou now feels a little quiet. If the house buyers calm down and stop being impulsive, the real estate prices will also cool down. Now, someone really needs to stir up this pool. Water, and Lu Ligan is the one most likely to make waves. From the fact that this advertisement, which lasted for 7 days, attracted the attention of the whole city to the center of Hangzhou, it can be seen that this guy will still make moves, and when he makes moves, he is always unusual. Hagen asked the merchants in their market, as well as the customers who came to the dynamic zone to purchase goods, to park their cars in the parking lot on Huanchen North Road, leaving the stadium roadside completely to those who came to the sales office in Hangzhou Center. Vehicles and a team of security guards were dispatched to help maintain order at the scene. Despite this, the parking lot is still very crowded, and the sidewalks on both sides of Stadium Road are crowded with bicycles. Fortunately, this scene often happens around here. Every time the Zhejiang basketball team led by Zheng Wu plays in the next province, such a scene would occur during a game in the stadium. The nearby residents and businesses would not be surprised by this and would not complain much. The traffic police came over to see the activities of their M-Zone and Zhejiang Jingxiu. They said hello to Hagen and told him to keep an eye on the middle of the road, meaning not to block the road. Hagen said that there were many, and the traffic police left. When Zhang Chen came to work at 8:30, the dynamic zone below was already open. He walked through the entire dynamic zone, from the back door of Huanchen North Road to the front door of Stadium Road. He saw that the place was already crowded with people. He knew that Lu Liganhe and Tan Shahen are both in the sales department, but it is no longer possible for him to enter the sales department. When he walked back, he saw Hagen staring at the front door for fear of something happening. Hagen also saw him and shouted, "Boss Lu is going crazy here today." Zhang Chen felt that Lu Ligan, Tan Shahen, Ying Ying, and everyone in their company had gone crazy the day before yesterday. They were discussing the opening price of Hangcheng Center the day before yesterday, and they actually negotiated a price of 9,800 square meters. Seeing this opening price, the happiest people are of course the real estate developers who are crowding in the crowd to watch the excitement. If this price can move, it can bring up the entire real estate price in Hangzhou. If it crashes, the same will happen. Lu Lipol. You must know that after an abnormal burst of demand in the second half of 1998 and the first half of 1999, and a surge in housing prices, in the second half of 1999, housing prices in Hangzhou were already falling. The price of houses in urban areas has remained at 5,000 to 6,000 per square meter, and they have basically stopped moving. Theoretically, the Hangcheng Center can be a little higher than other houses, but if it is suddenly 4,000 or 5,000 higher, it is still an office building. Isn't this going to cause trouble? But this time, what surprised Zhang Chen was that the person who supported the price of 9,800 the most was actually Tan Shahen. Tan Shahen said that although houses in Hangzhou are now stagflation, the price of land has been rising. This is an abnormal phenomena, and rising land costs will eventually be fed back into housing prices, and housing prices in Hangzhou will undoubtedly rise. Lao Meng is right. The local government's ability to control land prices is too strong. It is impossible for them to let land prices fall. As long as land prices do not fall and demand is still there, there is no possibility of housing prices falling. Now it is the supply and demand sides who are playing a game. Let's see. Who can't hold it first? Lu Ligan and Ying Ying both agreed with Tan Shahen's judgment. Lu Ligan said, "It's not that housing prices will not rise, but there is a lack of people to push the flames. We will play this role and push the housing prices in Hangzhou to a new level." Zhang Chen scolded, "It's you again. Those who buy houses in Hangzhou will hate you to death. You are harmful to others." Lu Ligan smiled and said, "When I sold it for 1,001 square meter, no one thanked me. It doesn't matter. Those who own houses will thank us for pushing up the housing prices. When the housing prices are high, their worth will also rise." Ying Ying said, "Mr. Zhang, if the housing prices in Hangzhou increase by 3,000, you won't thank us." "Thank you for what?" Zhang Chen scolded. "On my 3 apartments and 1 villa, you just increased it by 10,000 per square meter. Do I care? Besides, my houses are all used for living in, and I don't want to sell them. Is it none of my business whether it's 1,000 or 100,000 per square meter? Residential prices have increased, and it's not just residential buildings that have increased. It will also increase the industrial land used for your factories. The commercial land used for half an acre of land in your dynamic zone and Yan'an Road will also increase, including rents. You are also a big landowner. Say you have not benefited, Ying Ying said. Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen laughed. Zhang Chen thought for a moment and realized that what Ying Ying said might actually make sense. Although the rent on the first and second floors of their dynamic zone had not increased much according to the contract, he knew that the transfer fee for the stall had increased a lot, which meant that the rent is being raised in disguise. Including this time, the extension on the third floor should be cheaper than the second floor, but Hagen set the same price as the first floor, which is 6 yuan per square meter per day, but he still snatched it up. Empty indicates that rents in this market are indeed rising. Although Zhang Chen thought so, he still felt that their prices were a bit crazy. But when he saw so many people coming today, Zhang Chen couldn't help but sigh. Maybe it wasn't the people they were selling that were crazy, but the fact that there were so many people. You will really buy like crazy. No matter what kind of crazy buyer there is, you, the seller, can't do it unless you are crazy. At around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Zhang Chen was about to go to the sales office to take a look when Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen walked in from outside the door. As soon as the two people came in, they slumped down on the sofa, staring blankly. Tan Shahen's voice sounded a little hoarse. This was really rare. She sang on the stage for an hour without any fatigue in her voice. People. Tan Shahen looked at Zhang Chen and said, Zhang Chen, please, can you get us something to eat? We don't even have lunch. No cannibalism. There are so many people there, Zhang Chen joked. Tan Shahen shook her head, I can't chew it. I don't even have the strength to speak. I can't chew it so well. Zhang Chen picked up the phone and called the canteen below. Putting down the phone, he asked, how are you doing today? Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen looked at him, but neither of them spoke. After a while, Lu Ligan asked, Zhang Chen, when you made the most money in your life, how much did you make in a day? Zhang Chen thought for a moment, and then said, on the day Jessica and the others placed the clothing order, they placed an order of more than 28 million yuan. Including my own sales, it was more than 30 million yuan that day. After saying that, Zhang Chen immediately changed his mind. No, I just signed the contract that day and no money came in. Later, the money also came in batches. To say that the one who received the most money was the delivery of the dynamic zone and signing with the merchants. During the 3 days of the contract, at that time, more than 10 million yuan came in every day. Then do you know what it's like to earn 360 million a day? Lu Ligan asked. Zhang Chen shook his head, how could I know? We are like this now, as tired as a dog, Lu Ligan said. Now if you pile that money in front of me and ask me to take it, I can't even lift it. Zhang Chen was startled and shouted, oh shit. Have you done so much today? Tan Shahen looked at him and nodded. Zhang Chen scolded, then why do you two still look like your dead mother? What do you want? Are you excited? Lu Ligan smiled, I'm very excited, but I just can't make that excited expression. Don't you know that expressions also take effort? You, don't bother pretending to be dead, Zhang Chen cursed. Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen started laughing. Tan Shahen waved her hand towards Zhang Chen and said, really, Zhang Chen, I have no strength at all. I didn't feel anything when I was busy at the sales office. It's only now that I sit down that I feel sore all over my body. I have never been so tired. The bed is 20 meters away from here, go and sleep, Zhang Chen said. Tan Shahen looked at him pitifully and said, I'm hungry. Zhang Chen burst into laughter and cursed, okay, now, a bowl of noodles costs 50 million, do you want to do it? It's not my money anyway, Tan Shahan shouted. I'll do it too, but where's the noodles? Lu Ligan also shouted. Just as he was shouting, the staff from the canteen below came in with noodles. When Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan saw it, their eyes lit up. The staff brought the noodles to the conference table, put down the tray, and took out the bowls of noodles from the tray. Lu Ligan had already grabbed a poached egg on the plate and started eating it. Tan Shahan also immediately took the chopsticks and started eating. Noodles, no one has sat down yet. The staff member was startled by the way these two people were eating. She was stunned for a moment, then laughed and went out with the tray. Mr. Zhang, I'll collect it later, she told Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen agreed. Zhang Chen shook his head, took out a bottle of chili sauce from the cabinet, and walked over. Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan ate hungrily. After a while, they each ate 2 poached eggs. The bottom of a large bowl of noodles was almost gone. Zhang Chen asked, do you want more? There is a big sale now, 5 million a bowl? No, save some space for dinner later, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, why, you don't sleep even after eating? I would like to, but I can't sleep, Lu Ligan said. Lao Meng is on the way and will be there soon. Why is he here? To see you guys having fun. No, Lu Ligan shook his chopsticks. Below him, the Hong Kong boss of world-famous Brand Street came with him to discuss the leasing of the 5-story podium building below our Hangzhou center. Tan Shahan looked at Lu Ligan, with a grimace on her face, and said coquettishly, boss, can you let me go today? What's the matter? You're not here at this time and you want me to perform a one-man show, Lu Ligan said. Lao Meng is nearby and it's not convenient to talk. Tan Shahan pointed at Zhang Chen and said, he can help you. Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and said disdainfully, him? Thank God if he doesn't help in this situation. Don't forget about his Songjiang land. It was better for us to negotiate for him, so we could get 10 more acres. Tan Shahan laughed. Zhang Chen glared at Lu Ligan. Lu Ligan said, don't look at me, Zhang Chen, tell me the truth, if you were to set the rent on the 3rd floor of this dynamic zone, how much would you set, square? Zhang Chen thought for a while and said, the 2nd floor is 4 yuan per square meter per day. For the 3rd floor, I will probably order 3.5 yuan per square meter per day. Lu Ligan looked at Tan Shahan and said, did you see that? We were right not to let Hagen report to him first. Now, this upright old comrade almost gave up 7.3 million. Tan Shahan shook her head, and then Zhang Chen realized that the price of 6 yuan per square meter per day on the 3rd floor was set by Hagen and the two of them, and they didn't let themselves know until they signed the contract. Don't blame us for stretching too far, Zhang Chen. Tan Shahan glanced at Zhang Chen and said to him, thank you to Dal Tin Soldier and Ri Shushu for the reward. Thank you Yuangzi for your monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1127. With a day's sales of 360 million, plus the sales of the 2 previous office buildings, Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan calculated that the cost of the entire Hangzhou center should have been recovered. The next day, they took out another. The floor was 2,500 square meters, but the price had exceeded the 10,000 yuan mark, rising to 10,800 yuan. As a result, it was bought by a Wenzhou customer in one go. After the 2,500 square meters were sold, Lu Ligan and the others would not sell the remaining floors. This time, the sale was equivalent to 2 days of sales, and then ended hastily. No matter how many people were at the scene, Lu Ligan and others insisted that the houses that could be sold had been sold out and could not be sold. The houses were not completed anyway, and no one knew why they could not be sold. In the following days, Lu Ligan and his sales office in the center of Hangzhou, except for one or two left behind staff, were responsible for receiving people who came to view the property every day, introducing them to the situation of the property, and giving them the property brochure. However, when the other party offered to buy the property, when someone expressed his interest, he immediately told the other party in a friendly manner that there was no house for sale yet, and he didn't know when it would be open for sale again. Politely asked the other party to leave his phone number and promise to notify him in advance when the market opens, and that's it. Ying saw that she had even less things to do in Hangzhou than in Suzhou, so she went back to Suzhou early. When she returned to Suzhou, she found that the sensational effect in the center of Hangzhou had spread from Hangzhou to Suzhou, Suzhou, and Hangzhou. The two cities are destined to be one, and it is impossible not to have an impact on them. At that time, Hangzhou's housing prices were already attracting national attention because they were running so fast that they were going crazy and were already leading other cities across the country. By 2000, the average price of commercial housing in Hangzhou was 5,861.6 yuan/square meter, far exceeding Beijing's 4,066.7 yuan/square meter and Shanghai's 4,553.8 yuan/square meter. Therefore, every move in Hangzhou's housing prices affects the entire Yangtze River Delta region. Sensitive nerves. When Ying returned to Suzhou, there were already Suzhou local media waiting for her. The main reason why Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan put the brakes on the sales of Hangcheng Center is of course that the cost has come back. This is the same as Lao Wan's splendid garden in Pudong, Shanghai. The rest it's all about profits, so I don't feel panic anymore. Also, someone from the relevant department called Lu Ligan and told him that after the Spring Festival, Hangzhou is preparing to hold the first housing fair, which is the commercial housing trade fair. Mr. Lu, we hope that you can get a good deal at the real estate fair by then, but don't be left with no house to sell. Lu Ligan understood that he was letting himself take his time and take it easy. Well, I'm not in a hurry now anyway, that's what I have in mind. Lu Li followed the pole and slid down. There was another reason why Lu Ligan hit the brakes, and that was, Meng Ping was here. Meng Ping brought his Hong Kong boss to Hangzhou. With Meng Ping's building in front of him as a reference, the two parties negotiated smoothly about the lease of the Podium building in the center of Hangzhou. The general intention was finalized within one meal. Here Lu Ligan, he and Tan Shahan can make the decision, and there is no need to consult the board of directors. With the Hong Kong boss, he can make most of the decisions, but it still needs to be approved by the board of directors, but it is not a big problem. In this way, both parties wait to choose the right time to formally sign the agreement. The lease of the Podium building has also been negotiated. For Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan, it means that every inch of the house in the center of Hangzhou has been secured, and they can feel at ease. According to Lu Ligan's original plan, the top 10 floors of Hangzhou city center were to introduce a 5-star hotel. At this time, the sales situation was so good that there was no need for it. Moreover, they inspected domestic building. I feel that hotels in office buildings do not have much successful experience. Lu Ligan and others decided to change the plan and turn the top 10 floors into office buildings for external sales. After dinner, he sent the Hong Kong boss to the hotel. When Lu Ligan, Meng Ping, and Tan Shahan returned to Zhang Chen's office, they sat down and talked about today's sales situation in Hangzhou Center. Meng Ping immediately said, "Stop it quickly. Pole, don't sell it anymore." "What for?" Zhang Chen asked. He felt strange in his heart. If the house sold well, shouldn't he strike while the iron is hot and get the funds back quickly? Me, look me. Meng Ping patted his chest and said, "I am speaking from my own experience. My building was sold too quickly and in a hurry. As a result, now I see money depreciating and the house increasing in value every day. It is too late to regret it. If the building is sold slowly, it will be more cost-effective than if I develop a new project. If we don't sell it, where will the funds for land acquisition and other development projects come from? Tan Shahan asked. You are short of money now? There is no money in your account anymore, Meng Ping asked. Tan Shahan shook her head. That's not the case. I just feel a little panicked because I don't have any cash reserves. Similarly, what's the difference between saving a house now and saving cash? It's not too easy to cash out a house now. If you wait until you need money urgently, you can sell the house or pledge the house. It will take a few days to exchange money. Is it a matter? I was in a hurry to sell, and this is what I ended up with, watching the money depreciate and the house increase in value every day. Meng Ping sighed as he spoke. I can see now that this local government, your Hang Cheng Lu Cheng Cheng, is an outstanding individual. From the first time he implemented the land collection and storage system, he has followed the example of other cities across the country step by step. At the forefront, he is Mr. Han's best student, not you, Pol. You have to learn from him. What to study? Lu Ligan asked. Think about what Hang Cheng does, what Lu Cheng Cheng does. Let's just say that last year, Hangzhou issued the trial measures for the management of listing and transactions of housing reform housing in urban areas of Hangzhou City, which was at the forefront of the country. Encouraging housing reform houses to be put on the market has given many people who want to improve their housing an economic foundation. Because after selling the housing reform houses, they will have enough money to pay the down payment. Together with the mortgage, they will have enough funds to buy commercial housing. Does this greatly expand the population base of people who want to buy commercial housing? Lu Ligan nodded, feeling that Meng Ping was right. Meng Ping continued, at the same time, he began to vigorously demolish illegal buildings in the city with unprecedented intensity. I saw a piece of information that said that in Hangzhou last year, the area of illegal demolition exceeded 1 million square meters. I think about what this means. It means that firstly, it reduces the difficulty and cost of land acquisition and storage, and secondly, those illegal buildings are not just bricks and cement, but buildings inhabited by people. Who would live in illegal buildings? Most of them are in. There are no houses in Hangzhou, and people who come to the city to do business, right? The result of illegal demolition is to drive these people out onto the streets, causing the rent in Hangzhou to rise. After rents increased, many people felt that renting was not cost-effective. Has this created a lot of demand for home purchases? When the other three people heard what Meng Ping said, they all became interested. Lu Ligan shouted, "Don't say it, Lao Meng, it's really like this. You are so damn observant." Meng Ping smiled and said, "Don't praise me, I just like to think about it, Pol. You can see how powerful Lu Cheng Cheng is? He is a combination boxer. He not only has the first two moves, but also the most powerful one move." "What move?" Zhang Chen asked. "Look at Hangzhou, so many demands are forcing it out." "But aren't you familiar with the director of the collection and storage center? Just ask him. How much land does their collection and storage center have? Every time the land is auctioned, and how much of the available land was taken out for shooting, I tell you, you don't need to ask me to know that the proportion is very low. Why is the market demand so great and so much land not being used to increase supply? Haha, this is the reason why land in Hangzhou is auctioned at higher prices every time." I gave him a word called unsaturated supply. Without saturated supply, the market's hunger will never be satisfied. What will happen if the demand is not satisfied? Here comes the basic law of economics. This market is always a seller's market. The seller has the initiative in the entire market, including pricing power. This is what Lu Cheng Cheng is playing. Do you understand? Pol, tell me, who is Mr. Han between you and Lu Cheng Cheng? A good student? Since you want to sell Hangzhou Center in such a hurry, it shows that you are not. This is what you, including me, we need to learn from. What to study? That is, we also need to create unsaturated supply. For a project, we have to break it up and sell it. I sell it bit by bit, so that those who want to buy a house will always feel that our house is very popular, and they will buy it if they don't hurry up. It's less than that, so that our prices can keep rising. After Meng Ping finished speaking, both Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan understood. Zhang Chen cursed, "Lao Meng, you are really a profiteer. Learn it, follow it." Meng Ping chuckled. Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan also felt that what Meng Ping said made sense, and with the greeting phone calls from relevant departments, they decided to stop the sales in Hangzhou Center. But if they stopped selling after one day, the repercussions would be too great. They decided to sell another floor the next day, which would be an explanation. Unexpectedly, as soon as they opened the door, a Wenzhou boss came and bought the entire floor. Lu Ligan originally wanted to disagree with the deal, but Tan Shahan told him, "First, it makes no sense for you to refuse to sell when someone wants to buy it, and you have not stipulated in advance how many square meters one person can only buy. Secondly, there are so many reporters there. Think about it, this person bought one floor of such an expensive house at once. Does it have another sensational effect? Is it good or bad for us?" Lu Ligan felt that what Tan Shahan said made sense. After such an incident was exaggerated by the media, the effect of their unsaturated supply in the center of Hangzhou would become more obvious. When the real estate fair is held, if a few more floors are sold, the price will definitely will go up again. And, buyers are flocking to it. Thank you for the tip from the third one from top to bottom, 131, on the shore. Thank you Zongkai 727, Zifi Kangsheng Edison, and Hui Ziahe, Laos, and Qianbo for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1128. After Hangcheng Center was broken up and sold, Lu Ligan and his other houses also started to be broken up and sold. The selling stopped, and every time they stopped, the price went up a little, which made Zhongai them the people who own the house are panicking, knowing that if you like their house, you must act immediately, otherwise when you come to your senses, they will either stop selling it or increase the price. As a result, each project reported that the house was much easier to sell than before. Every time the news of their sale spread, there would be a queue at the sales office the next day, and the number of units sold did not increase. But sales rose rapidly. You are increasing prices every day, can this sales volume not increase? Tan Shahan and Lu Ligan said that they did not expect Lao Meng's trick to actually work. Alas, it seems that we are still too honest. Honest Lu Ligan and honest Tan Shahan are very satisfied with the overall situation of the company, but they still feel that their cash reserves are not enough, especially after the Spring Festival, when another round of land auctions will begin in various places. They need a lot of cash. Only with a large amount of cash can they reserve a large amount of land. Land is their lifeblood. On the one hand, he was releasing the house in his hands and withdrawing funds in a purposeful and rhythmic manner. On the other hand, Lu Ligan urged Mr. Chiao to see if he could promote the listing of the company as soon as possible. At the same time, he thought of using the company's equity as a pledge to go public. Issuing more corporate bonds. In his opinion, this equity is the least valuable thing. If you don't use it as a pledge, it will just be a number registered with the Industrial and Commercial Bureau. Lu Ligan called and told Lao Chiao his idea. Lao Chiao said yes. We will issue 3.5 billion bonds for your remaining equity. Is it enough for you? That's enough, Lu Ligan said. By the way, Mr. Chiao, I have pledged all my equity, will it affect the listing? It doesn't matter, this is a contingent debt. What's the meaning? What do you mean? Lao Chiao laughed. It means that it may be reflected in the company's statements, or it may not be reflected. We will deal with this when the time comes. Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Okay, then I'll leave it all to you. I know that no one can compare to you in terms of cunning." Old Chiao laughed. Everything was done by familiar means, and it was done very quickly. Before the Spring Festival, Lao Chiao had completed the matter. The people who came to buy the corporate bonds of Lu Ligan and his company were Miss Cai and others from Fuban Financial Holdings in Taiwan. Having tasted the sweetness, I also know that the real estate market in mainland China is now booming, and companies like Lu Ligan and others have broad prospects for development. Lu Ligan and Tan Shahen were relieved when the 3.5 billion in funds were received. At the same time, they also felt that they were very confident. After the new year, they would roll up their sleeves and go big. Yao Fen came to Zhongchen and brought several catalogs for this year's and 2000's auctions. These are the spring auction catalogs sent to them by every auction company. Zhongchen and his Lakeside Oil Painting Gallery, in addition to buying works themselves, are also guests of various auction companies, and they will be given preferential commissions. Especially when the domestic oil painting market is not very prosperous, various auction companies, I am particularly optimistic about customers like Zhongchen, and they are very flattering. The creation of artwork is a one-time thing. Even if a painter is copying his own work, it is very difficult to copy it as well as the original work, because the time and space environment of creation are different, and the state of mind is also different, especially the expression of the work. The fullness of emotions is different, and the action will be different. Even it is difficult to copy your own splendor. Many painters have some good works, especially in the past few years. Painters are proud to participate in national art exhibitions. As long as their works can appear in national art exhibitions, they feel that their goals have been achieved. As for these exhibitions, if their works are needed by exhibition halls or schools, they will send them out for free, without caring at all where these works go. There are also some paintings, such as Luo Zongli's father, which participated in the exhibition and caused a nationwide sensation. After your works become famous, the painter's ability to deal with his own works becomes not stronger, but weaker. You have no right to influence these works at all, they are just collected by the museum. What's more, the painters were in a difficult situation at that time, and their lives were quite embarrassing. Many of their works were neither able nor qualified to be cherished, so they were given to others, half sold and half gifted. Zhongchen knew a guy in Yongchen who liked painting very much, but he couldn't paint himself. In those years, he would often go to Zhejiang and the United States with paper and bags of cakes wrapped in straw paper to find painters to paint for him. Or go to ask for their paintings. Those painters can't even buy paper, and their faces are pale because of lack of nutrition. When they see someone giving them paper and cakes, they happily paint for them. This guy has a lot of paintings in his home. These works are now appearing one after another in the spring and autumn auctions of various auction companies, so they go to the Lakeside Art Museum to auction them every year. The significance of the original works is greater than even the paintings by the artist himself. Yao Fen showed the catalogue to Zhongchen. In this year's catalogue, there were many works that Zhongchen was familiar with. These were exhibited at the two national oil painting exhibitions in 1987 and 1994. Zhongchen selected more than a dozen works. Told Yao Fen, "Just stare at these." Yao Fen asked, "At what price can I get it?" "Anything below 300,000 yuan is fine," Zhongchen said. Yao Fen smiled and said, "Okay, then just prepare the money and you can win all of these." Among these people in China, who else's oil paintings can sell for more than 300,000 yuan? You are too overestimating. Zhongchen said, "Yes, then you can take them all." Yao Fen then took out a photo album and showed it to Zhongchen. It contained some paintings painted abroad by some painters who had gone abroad in recent years. Zhongchen saw a few paintings in it and asked, "Is this Han Xian's?" Yao Fen took the photo out of the album, looked at the back, and said yes, boss, how do you know? His brushwork is different from others. The painters of that generation, unlike you, all came from wild backgrounds. They painted by themselves, so they have distinct personalities. Unlike now, they all look the same. Taught by the teacher, go and look at those paintings by Chen Yifei before he went abroad. They are so beautiful, but I can't even look at any of the ones that are sold at a high price now. They have a charming air and no anger at all. Yao Fen looked at him and smiled, and Zhang Chen also laughed. He knew that Yao Fen was going to say he was being mean again, so he stopped talking. He pointed to those photos and said to Yao Fen, buy them all back. Yao Fen said yes. After Yao Fen left, Zhang Chen looked at the computer. He saw MSN in the lower right corner. Someone was talking to him. He clicked on it and it was Jessica. Jessica left a long message. Zhang Chen and Yao Fen, I was chatting and didn't pay attention. When I look at it now, Jessica's avatar is gray and she is no longer online. Zhang Chen looked at it and saw that Su Kioxin was online, so he posted this long paragraph. The phone on the table rang, and Zhang Chen picked it up. It was Su Kioxin. Su Kioxin told Zhang Chen that Jerry had also told her that it was similar to Jessica. It was our sample this time. They had received it. I feel very satisfied and they will place an order for us after selecting. Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief and said, that's good. What he was thinking was that this matter was finally completed in time for the Spring Festival. Mr. Zhang, Jessica also said that the styles they selected this time may be more than they originally expected. Also, for t-shirts, they may place an order separately, not together with cotton and linen clothing. They think these t-shirts are also interesting. Zhang Chen said fine, anything is fine. Also, Jessica is also urging us to get wedding dress samples. She hopes we can send them to them as soon as possible, Su Kioxin said. Have you spoken to Director Zhao? Zhang Chen asked. He was right next to me, and he said he could send it out next week. Okay, that'll do. Zhang Chen said, ready to hang up the phone. More. Su Kioxin shouted. What else? Zhang Chen asked. Also, Jessica asked, why haven't I seen your other design works? Su Kioxin said, and Zhang Chen was startled. He thought that Jessica said this casually at the time and forgot about it after saying it. Unexpectedly, she still remembered it. It seems that this Western woman is really like us. The difference was that every word she said was very serious. Zhang Chen heard that Su Kioxin laughed on the phone. Zhang Chen asked, why are you laughing? Mr. Zhang, have you forgotten about this? Su Kioxin asked. Zhang Chen said embarrassedly, I forgot, but I didn't forget. I just felt that if I said that casually at that time, the matter would probably be over. No, Mr. Zhang, foreigners are very serious. If you don't want to do it, just tell her not to do it. If you agree, they will remember it and wait, Su Kioxin and Zhang Chen said. What should we do now? Zhang Chen asked. I'll make up a reason for you first, but you can't escape it, Su Kioxin said. You still have to take the time to design something, even if Jessica doesn't adopt it. Zhang Chen said okay, I understand. After a while, Su Kioxin sent an English paragraph to Zhang Chen on MSN. Zhang Chen picked up the phone, called and asked Su Kioxin, what did you write? I told Jessica, of course, in your tone, saying that during this period of time, you will spend most of your energy on how to complete these sample dresses. After the wedding dress samples are also sent out, you will have time and energy to design other things, and thank her at the same time. Bala, boss, is that okay? Zhang Chen blushed when Su Kioxin said that he spent all his energy on the samples. He didn't spend half of his energy on these samples. He didn't know where he spent it, but he couldn't do this. Talk to Jessica. Zhang Chen felt that he was really working less and less. Boss, Su Kioxin called on the phone. Zhang Chen quickly said okay, that's it, thank you. Zhang Chen hung up the phone, but his heart became heavy. Thank you Yin, Murin, and Su Yuinian for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the reading and votes. I wish you all a happy life. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1129. Zhang Chen really wants to design something, but designing is something you don't just think about. In many cases, the more you think about it, the more you deny yourself, and you get into trouble. The ideas I come up with are too mediocre to impress. Jessica and the others are well informed, and if you want to impress her with ordinary things, it is simply impossible. But the more you frown, the moment of inspiration is just like the snow this year. The sky is often cloudy and cold, but it just refuses to come. Zhang Chen's mind went blank and he couldn't think of anything, but the Spring Festival of 2000 had already arrived. Zhang Chen could only tell himself with a wry smile that he would wait until after the new year. Fortunately, all the samples of their wedding dresses were sent out. Zhang Chen felt that this batch of samples was good. Ji Ling's entire team seemed to have got into the role of designing wedding dresses and looked comfortable. Well, with Jessica, at least all the prescribed actions have been completed. Next, are Zhang Chen's optional actions. Just like Su Kioxin said, if you agree, you must do it. Jessica will wait. If you wait, I will definitely have something to show you. This year's Spring Festival, because everyone had just gathered on New Year's Day, there was no urgency to get together again. In addition, each other had things they had to do. Liu Bang, the founder of the Han Dynasty, wanted to return to Taiwan as usual, and Lin Shuwen wanted to go back to their hometown with Old Tang. Huo needs to be on duty this year, and Lao Tan will go to Songjiang to celebrate the new year with Huo and his family. Tan Shahen will take Xiongnan back to Yongcheng to celebrate the new year this year. Zhang Chen couldn't figure it out and asked Tan Shahen, "Isn't your house by the Meisi River ready? Why don't you let Lao Tan and the others come to Hangzhou to celebrate the new year? What should I do if they don't leave or come here more often next time? I don't even dare to mention letting them come to Hangzhou," Tan Shahen said with a wry smile. "Besides, they are in good health. They are in Yongcheng, in the cultural center. The people staying in the courtyard of the system are all old acquaintances, which is also very nice." Zhang Chen understood that Tan Shahen did not dare to mention it because of Lao Tan and Lu Ligan, especially the unclear relationship between Tan Shahen and Lu Ligan. The two looked like a couple, but in fact they had nothing to do with each other. No, just the two of them can maintain and balance this relationship. If outsiders come in, especially two old people, I really don't know what will happen. My mind is on work right now, and I really don't want to get entangled in things other than work," Tan Shahen said. "We are in real estate, and the situation seems to be very good now, but the more this happens, the greater the pressure. Everyone is. I think real estate is easy to make money. Others, including state-owned enterprises, are engaged in real estate. Our current competitors are no longer the same as before. There are also enterprises under the housing management departments of various places and state-owned construction companies. They have innate advantages over us. They were born by our own mothers. These units are now engaged in real estate. Compared with the original companies, we are still smaller in scale and strength. We have advantages, but compared with those large state-owned enterprises, we are just a small company. If we don't catch up, we will be left behind by them. Moreover, the competition in the real estate industry is winner take all. It is different from your clothing. You open a store and face customers one by one. The real estate industry is too deep, and the people involved are things are too complicated. Those companies that couldn't stay in Hangzhou in the past 2 years went to the mainland and lower cities and counties. Do you know what they are like now? Zhang Chen shook his head. I was almost eaten alive by various local forces. People were staring at the cake you made before it was served on the table. Now these people have returned to Hangzhou in despair. In cities such as Hangzhou and Shanghai, even though they get land, the cost will be a little higher, but at least the entire industry is relatively standardized and there won't be any mess. I don't dare to go to those places even if I think about it. That's not right, Zhang Chen said. Didn't Wang Shi from Vanke still complain that the real estate market in Hangzhou is too deep? That's because he felt that when he arrived in Hangzhou, it was different from other places. There were not so many people trying to sell him off. When he went to other places, people would look at Vanke and Wang Shi as if they were gods. They could go smoothly, Tan Shahan said. When we get to Hangzhou, who will sell Wang Shi's account, or pole? No, I can't even stand it if the pole can be used, Zhang Chen said. Tan Shahan said with a smile, I knew you would say that. Really, in places like Hangzhou, Shanghai, Suzhou, and Nanjing, cities with better economic development will have more rules-based local governments. We have been to neighboring provinces. A prefecture-level city originally wanted to renovate its old city, but the local mayor invited us to dinner and said some things that scared me and the pole away. What did he say? Zhang Chen asked. Maybe he drank too much. He patted his chest and said, come here, in my territory. I can't agree to anything other than a head. I promise to do everything else for you. Tan Shahan said, oh my God, what are you saying? Isn't that the same? If we are here, if there is something that doesn't satisfy you, will we be worse off than dead? Isn't this lawless? Who dares to invest in a place like this? We ran away the next day. Zhang Chen remembered. He had heard Lu Ligan talk about this matter. Lu Ligan also said that that guy had been staring at Tan Shahan infatuatedly while eating, and kept saying over and over again that you women in Hangzhou are beautiful. Now that we are going, does it mean that if Tan Shahan doesn't go to his bed, even if she offends him, we shouldn't mess around there? Zhang Chen nodded and said, that's right. Let Lao Tan and the others stay in Yongcheng until the relationship between you and the pole is clear. Tan Shahan glared at him, Zhang Chen, what are you talking about? Zhang Chen scolded, am I talking nonsense? What are you doing? Do you want to be good or not? You Tan Shahan is looking for a man. You don't look for it, and you don't look for a pole. You guys have been like this for a year. As the years pass by, do you really want to hold hands until you are old, have gray hair, and sit in a rocking chair? Tan Shahan looked at Zhang Chen, but couldn't say what she wanted to say. After a while, Tan Shahan sighed and whispered, I won't talk to you anymore, Zhang Chen. She stood up and walked out. Zhang Chen looked at her back and shook his head. Tan Shahan finally agreed to Lu Ligan to equip her with a car, mainly because she often had to drive back to Yongcheng during the Spring Festival and beyond, and could not go back by bus. It would be too inconvenient, and she could not drive Lu Ligan every time. The slut who stood up the pole ran back, which would be too inconvenient for Lu Li pole. Lu Ligan wanted to give her a red Ferrari, but Tan Shahan didn't want it. She said that only little girls drive cars like that. Why would I, an old woman, want that? Lu Ligan rolled his eyes at her, but he knew that if Tan Shahan said no, he would definitely not want it, so he could only let her go. Tan Shahan finally chose a white BMW. Zhang Chen also changed his car. His original car was snatched away by a second-rate guy. He originally wanted to give the second-rate dealer a new car, but the second-rate dealer refused to take it. The second-hand guy came to Zhang Chen's office to say goodbye to him. Zhang Chen talked about the car and asked him and Zhao Jingjing to buy a car first and then drive to Songjiang. The second-hand guy said, I am in charge of the warehouse and I am forced to raise a car. If you want a new car, give me your car. Instructor, go and get another car. All the customers in our base have better cars than you. You are so a big boss, if he drives a car like this, he will be forced to raise. Zhang Chen laughed and asked, what do you want? I asked the security guard at the door to close the door and not let you in. You were forced to do so. You don't have to worry about it. I can't afford to lose face, the second rate scolded. After scolding, the second guy picked up the car keys on Zhang Chen's desk and said to Zhang Chen, I'll drive this car away, and I'll ask the security guard to bring the things in the car to you. In this way, the second-rate guy drove Zhang Chen Santana to Songjiang, leaving Zhang Chen without a car. Zhang Chen could only ask Lu Ligan to send him to the automobile city to buy a car. After looking at Mercedes-Benz and BMW, Zhang Chen didn't like them, saying they looked like they were driven by nouveau riche. In the end, he chose an Audi A8 and bought it. The two of them were shopping in the automobile city. Lu Ligan stared at an Aston Martin sports car and asked Zhang Chen, should I change this car? This car is so humming cool, right? The car seller told them that there were only 3 cars of this car sold in the country, and there was only one in Hangzhou. Our boss borrowed it from Shanghai for display and would have to return it after a while. Hearing what the car seller said, Lu Ligan became even more interested. He said no, he couldn't let the car go back to Shanghai. It must be named Lu. What about your slut Ben? Zhang Chen asked. Enough of showing off, now you can show off to Lao Tan. Do you think Lao Tan will want it? It's more like replacing him with a Mitsubishi Jeep, Zhang Chen said. Then give it to Fan Jiangguo, he likes sluts. As Lu Ligan spoke, he called Fan Jiangguo and asked him to come to the automobile city with Lao Tan and the company's finances and the check. Come here in a taxi, don't even drive, Lu Ligan said. After waiting for more than half an hour, Lao Tan and the others arrived. Lu Ligan said he wanted to change Lao Tan's car. Lao Tan said no, but Lu Ligan said no, because your car has seriously affected the company's image. Zhang Chen was also advising from the side, and Lao Tan finally agreed. A large group of people went over to accompany Lao Tan to choose a car. As Zhang Chen expected, Lao Tan chose a Mitsubishi Jeep. After buying Lao Tan's car, I went back to the place where the Aston Martin was sold. Lu Ligan and Fan Jiangguo said, how about I give you my sexy Mercedes-Benz? Fan Jiangguo was startled and shouted, really? Of course it's true, Lu Ligan said, and Fan Jiangguo was happy when he heard it. The owner of the store saw a group of people standing next to the Aston Martin from a distance. One of them looked familiar and he came over. The owner had seen Lu Ligan from the TV and newspapers. I felt that this person looked very similar, so I asked Lu Ligan. Excuse me, are you Mr. Lu from Splendid Land in Zhejiang? Lu Ligan nodded and said yes. The boss was overjoyed and quickly introduced this Aston Martin. Lu Ligan asked, if we use a check, do we have to wait for the money to arrive before we can pick up the car? No, 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 Boss Lu is here, who still can't believe it, the boss said quickly. Then I can drive this car away right away, Lu Ligan asked. Yes, of course, the boss nodded. Lu Ligan said yes, thank you. He asked the finance department to write a check and gave it to the other party. The two parties quickly completed the purchase and sale procedures. A group of them drove a Xiaobao Ben and 3 new cars and returned to Lu Ligan's company. Everyone in the company came out to take a look. Tan Shahen saw the Aston Martin sports car and knew that Lu Ligan, this childish guy, got crazy again. He was probably complaining in his heart that if she didn't buy a sports car, he would buy one himself. Tan Shahen originally wanted to tell Lu Ligan, if you want to do this, why didn't you tell me earlier? I can drive the old car and there is no need to buy the BMW. But seeing Lu Ligan's excited look on his face, Tan Shahen didn't give up. Thank you to readers 1297873838407110656, Doll Tin Soldier, and reading books every day for your rewards. Thank you to Yuju, Humor Tribe, and Book Friends 201901180252243144 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1130. This year's Spring Festival, Zhang Chen and the others are going to spend a villa in Dehuayuan, and Xiao Zhao and Xiao Fang have been decorating there for the past 2 days. This year, Chief Niu and his family will go to Chongqing to live in Xiao Zhao's villa to celebrate the new year with his grandmother. His younger brother Xiaoshu will bring his parents to Hangzhou to celebrate the new year with Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao and the others. So Xiao Zhao and Xiao Fang want to decorate the room. This villa came into use only during this period of vacation and rest. It's February 4th, the 29th day of the year. There is no New Year's Eve this year. Today is New Year's Eve, which also happens to be the beginning of spring among the 24 solar terms. Everyone celebrated the New Year at home. In the afternoon, Chu Tianlin and Chu Tianjian came to Zhang Chen and his friends to sit for a while, and now they went back to have the New Year's Eve dinner. This year, they also celebrated the New Year in Peach Blossom Spring. During the Spring Festival, the entire Dehuayuan became lively. When residents met each other, they all said that they had returned to the village. Everyone's situation was similar. They felt like migrant workers. This is the only time of the year when families can come here. Come to the reunion. Lu Ligan was also at home this year. After having New Year's Eve dinner with his parents, he left in a hurry, drove his Aston Martin to Jingxiu Jiangnan, and took the elevator to Lao Ni Company. The entire company was empty today. Most of the people in the company are from Shaoxing and have already returned to Shaoxing to celebrate the new year. Those who are not from Shaoxing have also gone home for the holidays. Only the financial business department, whose office door is usually closed, today for the first time, the door of the office is open. As soon as Lu Ligan entered their company, he heard the chirping of a group of women and Meng Ping's voice. Lu Ligan walked over, and the people inside cheered when they saw him. In the office, 2 desks were vacated and moved to the middle. They were covered with newspapers. On the newspapers were a table of dishes that Lu Ligan asked Tiang Xianglu to deliver, as well as the salted duck that Meng Ping brought from Nanjing in the afternoon. The 5 girls from the financial business department and Meng Ping have already started having New Year's Eve dinner. Looking out of the window with the curtains open, the whole city of Hangzhou was boiling with fireworks, far and near. Lu Ligan walked over and sat down, and Ren Rongrong filled him with wine. Lu Ligan raised his glass and wanted to toast with everyone. Chen Yakin shouted, "No, no, no, Mr. Lu, you are late. Please punish yourself with 3 drinks first, let's hum you again." Lu Ligan smiled and said okay, and quickly drank the wine. Before he put down his cup, Ren Rongrong refilled it for him, and Lu Lepole finished it again. He drank 3 cups in a row. After the 4th cup, everyone raised the cup with him, clinked it, and called New Year. "Okay, now I've finished the wine." Putting down the wine glass, Chen Yakin looked at Lu Ligan and Meng Ping and said, "You two, what's the use of making so much money? It's the New Year, and there's not even anyone to celebrate the New Year with, so you want to mess with us?" Lu Ligan and Meng Ping laughed, and Lu Ligan said, "Why, you're not welcome." "Welcome, welcome, warm welcome," Chen Yakin said, "we wish we could have such treatment every day." Meng Ping said, "How are you better than us? Aren't you here?" Ren Rongrong said, "We have no choice. We are at work and it is difficult to return home." "Are you? Are you homeless?" Lu Ligan said, "We are also working, and we are here to supervise your work." Ren Rongrong curled his lips, "Can you supervise me? We are working for Lao Ni today, Not for you. Then we are here to learn, Meng Ping said. Chen Yakin raised her glass again and said to Meng Ping and Lu Ligan. However, I still have to thank you, Mr. Lu and Mr. Meng, for remembering us. You are more reliable than that old Ni, and you even know how to come over and have the New Year's Eve dinner with us. That bastard, Lao Ni, came yesterday. You guess he what did you say to me? What did you say? Lu Ligan asked curiously. He asked us if the instant noodles were ready. Damn it, do we only deserve to eat instant noodles? Chen Yakin cursed, while Lu Ligan and Meng Ping laughed. During the Spring Festival holiday, the domestic stock market and futures market were stopped, but the external market was not stopped. Lao Ni's Hong Kong account had been doing external futures and foreign exchange, so Ren Rongrong said that they were working for Lao Ni. Not only did the external trading not stop, New Year's Eve was also Friday, which was the most active day for market transactions. Of course, Chen Yakin and Ren Rongrong could not take a holiday, so they could only continue to work here. Otherwise, when they returned home, they would not even have the internet. How could they? If you can keep an eye on the market, how can you trade? They have to wait until early in the morning, after CBOT and CME, that is, after the Chicago Board of Trade and Chicago Mercantile Exchange close, and the global futures market and foreign exchange market enter their rest days on Saturday and Sunday, before they can go home. On the first day of the new year, I reunited with my family. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan, these two guys, were originally away from home during the Spring Festival. When they learned about this situation, they took the initiative to tell Ren Rongrong and Chen Yakin that they would come to have New Year's Eve dinner with them. Of course, Ren Rongrong and Chen Yakin were very welcome. At dawn, Meng Ping will send Chen Yakin home, and Lu Ligan will send Ren Rongrong home. After staying at home for a night, they will rush back to prepare for the opening of the Tokyo and London stock exchanges on Monday. The computer on the desk behind them was facing this way. Ren Rongrong and Chen Yakin, while drinking and eating, would look back at the screen from time to time. Halfway through the drink, Ren Rongrong asked Lu Ligan and Meng Ping, "Do you want to know the market price of natural glue?" Both said yes. Chen Yakin stood up and said, "Come and see." Lu Ligan and Meng Ping stood up and walked over. Chen Yakin opened the market chart of natural rubber on the computer and showed it to them. The two saw that in the first 2 days of the holiday, natural rubber reached its highest point, and in the following 2 days, it reached its highest point. Days, the price has come down a bit. Chen Yakin said to them, "Have you seen it? It will increase after the holidays." Meng Ping pointed to the computer screen and said, "Isn't it already falling? How can I say it will rise again? It's the Spring Festival, so it's normal to go back a bit." "All varieties will be like this," Chen Yakin said. "It's inevitable that some people need money during the Spring Festival and have to spend part of it, and there are also some timid people who are afraid that something will happen during the Spring Festival. If any unexpected incident occurs, we will temporarily leave the market, but the trading volume is very small, which shows that everyone's confidence is still there." Meng Ping and Lu Ligan nodded. Chen Yakin smiled and said, "Well, you are here today, and it is not in vain." As she spoke, she clicked on the crude oil on the external market and said to them, "Did you see that crude oil is still rising today and has reached $28.46 US? This is more supportive. Natural rubber will still rise after the holiday. Are you guys, don't you feel at ease?" Meng Ping smiled and said, "With you here, we will feel at ease at all times." "Okay, this flattery is good, but beauties are different," Ren Rongrong shouted. Chen Yakin glared at her, Ren Rongrong laughed, and Chen Yakin's face blushed slightly. Lu Ligan walked over, stood next to Ren Rongrong and asked, "Where is it?" Ren Rongrong asked strangely, "Where is what?" "You flatter me, I'll pat you on my back too," Lu Ligan said, and everyone in the room laughed. Everyone sat down and continued drinking. The air conditioner in the room was turned on fully and the door was open. In order to avoid the heat escaping from the front, Chen Yakin simply turned up the air conditioners in the entire company outside. She said that the air is better with the door open. Ren Rongrong laughed at her, wondering if it was too extravagant to turn on so many air conditioners just to open the door. Chen Yakin scolded, "Never mind him. Anyway, Lao Ni spends money and we all eat instant noodles. Why don't we use him to pay the electricity bill? He still refuses." Everyone laughed again. Lu Ligan said it was okay. If Lao Ni, a jerk, was unhappy, ask him to give me the bill and I would pay the electricity bill this month. Okay, then I'm going to turn on all the lights outside, Ren Rongrong said as she was about to stand up. Chen Yakin pulled her back with a smile. One night, Ren Rongrong and Chen Yakin didn't stand up in front of the computer to operate anything, but watching the market and waiting were necessary and their daily routine. In the financial market, they thought about heaven and hell, but this no one in the world knows when it will happen. At 12 o'clock, the sky outside was illuminated by fireworks again. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan's cell phones rang. The two stood up and walked out, each looking for a suitable place to answer the phone. The 5 people who stayed in the room had already told their families that they would work overtime and had already said what they needed to say. At this time, no one had called them, and they could not remember who they needed to call. Those who do business have a very narrow life circle. Almost all their friends are in this room. At this time, they were staring blankly out of the glass, watching the splendid city getting darker minute by minute, and the last firework that shot up into the sky was like an uninvited guest, making people watch. They all feel a little funny and lonely. Zhang Chen felt a little strange. He thought Lu Ligan would come over after dinner. Lu Ligan couldn't stay at home. It was good to finish the New Year's Eve dinner. After dinner, Chu Tianlin brought her son over to play with Xiao Shu and Zhang Xiangbei. She played cards with Zhang Chen, Xiao Fang, and Xiao Zhao. Zhang Chen didn't like playing cards very much, so he kept waiting for Lu Ligan to come over so that he could give up his seat to him. But at 12 o'clock, no one was seen. Zhang Chen was surprised. Tan Shahen was not here. Lu Ligan had no choice but to come here. Where else would you go? Zhang Chen called Lu Ligan and asked him where he was. Lu Ligan couldn't tell the truth to him, so he could only lie. You are all raising families, what future do you have with me? Fan Jiangguo and I are out here. Don't fool around, be careful if Tan Shahen finds out, Zhang Chen said. I know, Happy New Year. Roll. The two of them answered the phone outside for more than half an hour and then came back. Several women in the room had already put the dishes in the microwave and reheated them. Everyone sat down and continued eating and drinking until 3 o'clock. In 15 minutes, even the Chicago Board of Trade will be closed, and the global foreign exchange market has reached its most deserted time. Their wine was already sluggish. Meng Ping said, "Let's go for a ride in the Aston Martin sitting on a pole by the West Lake." "Okay," everyone else shouted. "Thank you for the tip from the third one from top to bottom, 131 on the shore. Thank you Feng Qingyang for your monthly vote. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone."